Kim Jahan worked in the fire department. He rescues a little girl from a burning skyscraper, but his safety rope flares up and breaks. A man with a child is flying down from a colossal height, and his entire existence flashes before his eyes. However, Jahan opens his eyelids and realizes that he is unharmed, and the girl is also safe. He notices the parents tearfully hugging their child, and approaches them. He wants to find out her name, but at the same moment he catches someone stubbornly addressing himself. Turning around, Jahan sees a man and a girl in dark robes. This unusual couple stands calmly directly under the falling debris from a height. Approaching him, the stranger informs him with a smile that Kim Jahan died on April 28, 2017, strictly according to schedule. Mysterious personalities call him Paragon, a man who died with dignity, and they call themselves the guardians of the other world, Haewon Mak and Dok Chun. I would like to think that this is just an absurd joke, but Jahan notices his body on the ground and his fellow firefighters, who are trying in vain to resuscitate him. The man realizes that this is indeed the end. A portal appears behind the hero and pulls him inside. At the gates of the otherworld, they are joined by a third guardian, Gon Rim. The cluster of souls spreads out, allowing Jahan to pass forward. The fiery inscription confirms that his soul was recognized as noble. In the company of guards, he crosses the gate and finds himself in the underworld. Here he will have to go through 7 trials, for betrayal, cruelty, disrespect, murder, laziness, lies and dishonor. At the first court hearing, Jahan is accused of committing murder. A chasm opens up under his feet, from where the screams of tortured souls can be heard, and he is almost ready to rush there. The reason is that he once left his colleague on fire, and this was regarded as direct evidence of guilt. But Gon Rim takes on the role of his defender and sheds light on the truth. Indeed, Jahan left the place, but his friend was crushed by a concrete slab, and there were still living people in the building who needed saving. He made an attempt to return, but before he could, an explosion occurred. At that time, Jahan was able to carry 8 people out of the flames. The mirror of karma serves to confirm his words, and the deity of murders announces an acquittal verdict. Next, the Paragon, along with the guards, crosses the Leni River. This is the road to the second court. Gon Rim warns Jahan not to engage in dialogue with the goddess of laziness under any circumstances. At the trial, the full gravity of his life becomes clear. He was a firefighter, delivered vegetables, washed floors in a sauna complex, worked as a waiter and taxi driver. He even saved a kitten. The goddess of laziness asks why he did all this, and Jahan gives the answer: for the money. At that moment, her expression changes. She claims that his true deity is money, and prepares to announce the accusation. But Haewon Mak and Gang Rim rush into the water, hold the raft with Jahan, which is carried away to the waterfall, and provide evidence. Yes, he worked for the money, but he sent all the money he earned to his sick mother and his younger brother. The mirror of karma confirms this fact, and the goddess makes an acquittal. Through a forest of blades, they reach the court of slander. At this stage, all his deceptions should be considered. The guardians share with Jahan the confession that the lord of the underworld himself, Yumra, made a promise. If they assist 49 souls in rebirth within 100 years, they themselves will be honored with such an opportunity. And Jahan turned out to be the 48th for them. They cover part of the distance on a boat that rushes along the chute, but they are chased by ghouls, monsters from hell. Their appearance was provoked by a vengeful spirit from the world of the living. One of Jahan's relatives died with hatred in his heart and stayed to take revenge. In this regard, Gon Rim goes to the human world. He arrives at Jahan's house and finds out that his younger brother Suong has died. The evil spirit hides and runs away. The guardian does not have time to catch up with him. The trail leads him to a military unit, where he learns that Suong voluntarily left the service 3 days ago. During the same period, Jahan is on his 3rd trial. He is accused of lying. It becomes known that he composed 98 letters to the daughter of the deceased firefighter on behalf of her father, promising that he would certainly return. Haewon Mak loses hope of an acquittal and appeals to Gang Rim. He gets in touch through Dok Chun and confirms that Jahan has been misleading not only the girl, but also his mother for 15 years, sending her letters about the happy family he did not have. Yes, it was a serious act, but these letters gave my mother the strength to fight the disease. As for the girl, although the letters gave false hope, they made her resilient and responsive. The mirror of karma confirms this, and the judge gives Jahan a verdict of innocence. The Paragon and his defenders continue on their way. Jahan feels sad. He was never able to give his mother an electric rice cooker as a gift. In her youth, she cooked rice in an old tin dish, but now it is so worn out that the food often burns. There was another message hidden inside the rice cooker for her. Gang Rim comforts Jahan, assuring him that his mother and brother are alive, but tells his companions the truth: Suong has turned into a vengeful spirit. Gang Rim travels back in time and learns that Suong was inadvertently shot by a colleague when he took his machine gun off the platoon. The bullet hit him in the stomach. The lieutenant made an attempt to save him, but it was unsuccessful. To conceal the incident, he hid the shell casing and told the soldier to hide all traces. They decided to bury the body, but did not pay attention to the fact that the guy was still breathing. Sukhong was buried alive. Jahan and the Guardians crossed the icy gorge. This is the way to the Court of Dishonor. However, his life was so perfect that there was nothing to judge him for. Suddenly, the gorge begins to collapse, and the heroes barely manage to jump into the cab of the funicular. They pass by souls frozen in ice blocks. Haewon Mak accidentally let slip to Jahan that the vengeful spirit is his own brother. At the same moment, the cabin breaks off, and Jahan rescues the guards with a rope from his fire kit. Meanwhile, the lieutenant issues a discharge to the private and transfers the money in exchange for silence. Suhong's vengeful spirit hovers in the location of the unit, and Gang Rim follows him on his heels. Jahan and the guards enter the sky bridge. This road leads to the court of betrayal. There, the souls of traitors are placed in glass chambers and exterminated. But Jahan was virtuous, so they let him through without any delay. Gang Rim discovers Suhong's spirit in the club, where he intends to bring down a huge ball on the lieutenant. Suong tries to escape through the portals, but ends up trapped. Gon Rim convinces him to abandon his plans for revenge, as this brings destruction to both worlds, but his spirit does not listen to him. He was buried alive. What could be more terrible? Suhong's rage shrouds the city in darkness. At this point, the private confesses to the lieutenant that he can no longer hide the truth. He goes to Suhong's mother's house and throws up a map showing the place where her son is buried. Jahan and the Guardians approach the cliff. This is the court of cruelty. Haewon Mak pushes him down, and that's the only way he gets to the meeting. On Earth, a private soldier is preparing to take his own life, but he is being watched by Gang Rim. Suhong's spirit appears and begs the guard to save the private. In return, he promises to go to another world. The guards are not allowed to interfere, but Gon Rim breaks the ban and saves the soldier, which upsets the balance. In the afterlife, stone boulders almost crush them all, but Jahan still ends up on the court of cruelty. He is accused of beating his younger brother. Stone sculptures show memories. It was really happening. After that night, the brothers stopped communicating because Jahan ran away in the morning. The judge convicts him. Haewon Mak turns to Gon Rim for help. At this time, he stays at the grave of Sukhong. He requests a general court. The hero and the guards find themselves in the desert, the domain of the Sons of Disrespect. This is where the general court begins. Gang Rim is escorting Suong to the otherworld at this moment. The brother makes a confession. That night, Jahan beat him because he wanted to strangle his mother with a pillow. In the desert, Jahan confirms that he really thought about taking the lives of his mother, brother, and himself. The family existed in poverty and illness, and he ran away, found a job, and began sending money and letters. Jahan and Suhong's mother came to the gate of the unit every day, holding a poster calling for her son to be found. As a rule, she was turned away, but one day she was allowed inside. The lieutenant treated the woman rudely, noticed her card and threw it away with such force that she lost consciousness. Sukhong, having witnessed this, turns back into a vengeful spirit and causes a storm that connects the world of the living with the afterlife. Haewon Mak is thrown out of this area, and only Dok Chun remains with Jahan. The hero is swallowed up by the sands, and Dok Chun's cry of despair reaches Suhong's ears. It stops the storm. The court session begins at the very king of Yumra. He is going to immediately issue a guilty verdict and does not provide an opportunity for defense. Dok Chun interrupts him with tears in his eyes. The king raises the mirror of karma and sees the truth. Jahan's mother was awake at the time. The hero is ready to be punished and asks only for one thing: to say goodbye to his mother. But the king refuses. At the same time, Gang Rim appears to Suhong's mother in a dream. He appears before her in uniform and informs her that he is serving in the heavenly court. The woman recalls the day when Jahan ran away, and admits that she does not hold a grudge against her son and loves them both. The King of Humor sees this and declares, therefore, the act is no longer a sin. Jahan is acquitted and can be reborn. Gun Rim, disguised as a courier, delivers a rice cooker and a message from his son to Jahan's mother. She reads it and smiles. The Guardians also experience happiness. The 49th soul, Paragon Suong, appears on the threshold of hell. Now they decide to go straight to King Yumur in order to find a new birth as soon as possible.